Welcome back to the training, and this time around we are going to be taking a look at how to pick premium domain names and the criteria to look out for. So the very first thing we are going to consider here when it comes to picking premium domain names, that's domain names that could be sold for the big bucks, we are going to be looking at the age of the domain. Now, generally, the older a domain is, the more valuable it becomes. And if the owners have been really working on it, so it must have been generating a good amount of traffic and a good amount of backlinks, making it very valuable in terms of SEO worthiness. So the first thing that you generally are going to be looking at when buying a premium domain is you look at the age of the domain. So all those domains from 6 years to 19 years are always highly valuable, and if you could lay your hands on any of them with catchy brandable name, wow, you are in for the big bucks. This could be sold for as low as $10,000 to $150,000 if done right. So another good thing that comes with age is that an age domain is generally out of the Google sandbox, so you don't have to wait for those months for Google to that's the search engines generally to consider it of repute. Right out of the box, it is out of the sandbox. So the second criteria we are going to look at is trademark. As I told you in some of the earlier videos, avoid anything that has to do with trademark. If you see a big brand's name there with just a little attachment, take for instance Apple, getting a domain name like the Apple, you are creating real problems for yourself. You could end up getting sued, not just losing the domain, you pay heavily for infringing on trademarks or abusing trademarks. So keep away from buying any domain name that has any kind of relations to a trademark, whether Facebook, Apple, Microsoft. Just keep away from any of those brand name, McDonald's, just keep away from them. Coca-Cola, Coke, Pepsi. So you keep away from all of those jazz. Then another criteria to look out for are those domains that have symbols and numbers on them. You would want to avoid any of these jazz. So where a domain has a symbol like hyphen on it, it generally loses its value. The value automatically drops, immensely drops. So domain and end users don't like buying domain names that comes with hyphens. So just avoid all that, the symbols, the numbers. Try as much as possible to avoid any domain name that has come with any of this. So you're actually looking at the length of the name of the domain. This is super important. You need to get a catchy name that anyone can remember. Take for instance names like datarecovery.com, .net, .org. It is not too long. It is very okay, and anyone can remember it. What of a name like data recovery at United States Capital.com? Oh my dear, this is quite really long and funny, kind of funny. So one would really want to go for that when you have datarecovery.com. So you need to check out the length of the domain name. This is important. Then the niche is also very important when it comes to picking up domain names. Niches like health related niches and make money online niches and home improvements, and all those are cool niches. But when you come to niches like military niches, talking about jets, planes, and high premium, like niches that has to do with exotic cars, exotic cars, those niches, though it could have a high CPC, but how many people are really going for such domain names? So when you go and get such domain names for yourself, it could end up being with you for a very long time. So you go for those domain names that has a lot of traffic, that a lot of people are going for. So the niche is also very important. Health niches and beauty niche, make money online niche, home improvement niche, education, these are really hot niches. Then the price is very important. The way we are going to do our training on here, the way we are going about it, you are going to be picking domain names for the real price, for the wholesale price. But there comes a time you could really see a catchy domain name that you see has some real prospects, and it is going for like $300, $400, $500. You might want to get it, as long as it falls within your budget. But domain name that is in the very high range of thousands of dollars, if it's not within your range at that point in time, you totally keep away from it. Then we are going to consider the relevant and proper keywords. Yet keywords are still key, they are still important and relevant, especially when it comes to SEO. That is one. Then we are also looking at branding. So you check out all those things, that the domain has the relevant keyword that you are going for. If the niche you are going for or your brand has to do with SEO, and the domain name doesn't have anything that is relevant, that is related to it, you might want to keep away from such domain name. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. Then existing traffic. Of course, existing traffic is always going to be a sellable thing. If you have a domain name, and for a domain to have existing traffic, it means that it is not new. It is at least a year old. So a domain that has existing traffic, and there are softwares, everything I'm saying here, all these criteria, there are softwares that can fish them all out and give you all these details in minutes, if not seconds. And we are going to be taking a look at those software immediately after this training. So existing traffic is very important. Then you make sure, the last point, that the domain is spam free. If you get a domain that has a lot of spam, from pharmaceutical firms, and you have Viagra, Cialis, and all those jazz and jargons, it is not going to be good for your brand, and it is not going to be good for you when the search engines start clamping down on you. So you get spam-free domain names. Of course, there are still going to be some amount of spam, but anything that gets into a very large percentage of spams, then you might want to keep away from such domain names. So these are some of the criteria that you need to really look into, cross-check. And thank God that you don't have to do this manually. There are softwares that will help you to do that. And this takes us to the next section. When we come back, we are going to be taking a look at softwares that you can use for domain hunting, and you are going to be looking at some of my recommendation and my own particularly recommended app, especially for beginners that are working on a budget. So thank you very much, and God bless. See you in the next tutorial.